Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we're delving into the track The Emptiness Machine by the American rock band Linkin Park. Yes, that's right, after all the speculation that's been going around over recent weeks, recent months, we finally do have answers to many of the questions that people have been asking. We've had the announcement that Emily Armstrong will be taking over on lead vocals for Linkin Park, taking over from the late Chester Bennington, which is certainly no easy feat. Also we'll be seeing the addition of Colin Britton as well, who'll be taking over behind the drum kit instead of Rob Burden, who's opted not to continue with the band, but all other members are continuing as the band do embrace this next chapter. They have announced their upcoming album From Zero, which will be released on November 15th. And for anyone that's not aware of the band's history, that Zero with an X was actually the band's initial name when they first got going before switching to Hybrid Theory and then Linkin Park. So really just highlighting already with the title of the album that they're continuing on their journey and they're never going to forget their past. The real question on everybody's lips though is how will Emily adapt to taking over one of the biggest bands in the world with such a rich history? Will she be able to replace some of that emptiness that Chester did leave behind? So without further ado, let's take a look at exactly how it sounds.
Your blades are sharpened with precision, flashing your favorite point of view. I know you're waiting in the distance, just like you always do, just like you always do. Already pulling me in, already under my skin, and I know exactly how this ends. I let you cut me open just to watch me bleed. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Don't know why I'm hoping for what I won't receive. Falling for the promise of the emptiness machine. The emptiness machine.
Okay, I'm already loving some of the elements we've really got coming through on this first taste of the new iteration, the new era of Linkin Park. First of all, I want to touch on some of these lyrics, really putting an emphasis on the fact that this iteration is never going to try and meet the standards of the Chester Bennington-led era of Linkin Park. And I really love how in that second verse, because there's a fire under the altar, really highlighting that there's this sacred thing that's protected by this ring of fire. That could be the fans, it could be just anything, but the fact that they cannot reach this kind of sacred spot that effectively is the band's history, and they're not going to try and mess with that sacredness that you have. So it's almost like the grave of somebody or the kind of sacred monument to the band's past. They're leaving that alone, they're kind of veering away from it, they're not going to try and touch it or to live up to that same standard, which I think is a fair thing to do. And this is also another reason I really like they've gone with a female vocalist. I feel like if they'd gone with a male vocalist, they really would have had somebody that was trying to really strongly emulate Chester Bennington, and they would never live up to that platinum standard that the band has set over their discography, and that person would always be trying to play catch up. They would always be compared, whereas at least by going with Emily, it allows them to really explore a slightly veered path. She's still going to have some of these comparisons, it's unavoidable when you take over one of the biggest bands in the world, but by going with a female vocalist, they're really enabling themselves to continue to evolve and adapt and really just explore their sound. It's something the band have done across their discography all the way from the day one to the present day. And one other thing I really love about her being chosen as the new lead vocalist is she has this raspiness to her voice. If you've ever listened to any of her previous work with Dead Sarah or anything like that, you'll have heard it before. She really has this almost Janis Joplin-esque sound with this huskiness and this rasp to her voice, similar to other kind of female vocalists like Izzy Hale or even Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac, some of these iconic female vocalists. And this is really strong because it was something that Chester Bennington used to great effect in the band's previous music. So when she's playing live on stage, that rasp and that rattle really comes through and helps to really go for that more aggressive tone that we do see coming through on much of the band's music, certainly their more early editions that they did offer to the fans. And I love some more of these lyrics. Your blades are sharpened with precision, flashing your favourite point of view. The fact that they kind of expect fans to be up in arms about this decision they've made. However, they've given it 7 years. They've done a lot of things to really honour the legacy of Chester. So I really like that they're kind of moving in a new direction and really trying something different. I really think they've made some great choices, and from what I've heard I'm hearing on this already, I'm really appreciating the addition of Emily to the band and just really her showing what she's capable of. She knows that she's not going to completely step in the shoes of Chester, but she's going to do her own thing and really just kind of highlight that they're willing to kind of move forward, but they're kind of just kind of nodding towards some of these fans that are going to be up in arms with all of these lyrics. I know you're waiting in the distance just like you always do, These people have come out of the woodwork to say I'm never listening to Linkin Park again, and that's fine. If they want to live in the past and enjoy the band's discography up to that point, they can, but they're going to hopefully gain an iteration of new fans or people that are able to adapt and understand that you can't bring the past back, so let's enjoy the future and what the band are going to bring. And as we move through into that pre-chorus, already pulling me in, already under my skin. The fact that fans are going to get under her skin, she knows she's got high expectations to really live up to, and the whole band do. And they're not going to let that pull them down, not let it crawl under their skin and eat them alive. They know how this ends. They know the future path they want to walk, and they're going to do that, even though people are going to be trying to cut me open just to watch me bleed. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. So I like the fact they're sticking to their laurels. They're not letting the fans dictate exactly what choices they should make. The band want to continue to make music, and I love how they're referencing this in the video effectively, with all the bands kind of going to what you consider normal jobs and just kind of going back to standard living, and that journey's not over. They're all getting teleported in to kind of come together and really move into the future. So I love the little nod they're kind of showing in the music video, and also making so much reference in the lyrics to the kind of people that are going to kind of hurl quite a lot of negativity at them, this emptiness machine, this void of negativity that they kind of have to just ignore and move past as they move into the future.
I only wanted to be part of something. I only wanted to be part of. I only wanted to be part of something. I only wanted to be part of. I only wanted to be part of something. I only wanted to be part. Let you cut me open just to watch me bleed. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Don't know why I'm open, so fucking naive. Falling for the promise of the emptiness machine. The emptiness machine. The emptiness machine. The emptiness machine.
Okay, I'm not going to lie, I absolutely adored that. I know for as many people, they're not maybe going to be adapting to it as quickly. For some people, they are going to be kind of just, can she really ever replace Chester? And the answer to that is no. But as a long-time Linkin Park fan, I mean, their early albums made up a massive portion of my teenage years, but I understand that they can't kind of move forward without some form of change, and I think this is going to be a fantastic change for them. I'm loving this sound we're getting. I really just think she's a very strong fit in Emily, and it's great to see the band coming together. You can see all the elements of their discography really embedded into this track. The soft piano keys, that very aggressive 2000s rock tone that really comes through, that we did see them really put to great use in that decade, and really just kind of highlighting and nodding back to some of the band's history in this track, whilst also keeping it very fresh, very modern. So I like the way they're still tapping into that history, but they're really showing some new elements as we do move into this future era. And I'm really, really curious to see what else they're going to offer us on this upcoming album. But if it's anything like this first track, where certainly I do feel in for a treat. And one thing I really did love in that was the lines in that bridge. I only wanted to be part of something, want to feel included. They want the fans to get on board. They want to feel like they can continue that Linkin Park legacy. And there are bands that ultimately have continued to strive after replacing a very notable frontman. I mean, maybe not so much in recent years, but certainly if you look at things such as Genesis, replacing Peter Gabriel with Phil Collins, who went on to have a massively successful career. And whilst they may not seem like they're Linkin Park size standards by today, at the time in the 80s, they were one of the biggest bands going, really defining prog rock. So you can see that often it can work. And I think obviously it's a big change for people to adapt to. They have got millions of fans around the world. And I do think it's one of those that if you aren't keen on this new era of the band, then you have got plenty of the band's history to still enjoy. You don't have to go see them live. But for the people that are just coming on board, just getting introduced to Linkin Park, or those that are really interested in allowing the band to continue to do what they do best in making music, then it's certainly going to be a treat going forward. I also like they haven't changed the name of the band as well. There was a lot of people crying out for that it shouldn't be the same name. It's just a kind of dishonour to Chester. But I think even he would be looking down at the band and going, fantastic, I'm so proud of what you guys are going to do in the future, continuing on the band's legacy. And I really do think this song really, really does do the band justice, and certainly makes me very excited for what the future does hold. So there we have it, the emptiness is finally filled, that void of 7 years with no music from the band. But I would love to know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. How do you feel about the introduction of Emily Armstrong and Colin Britton to the band? Are you excited for this future going forward for them? Or maybe you don't particularly like this addition and maybe you feel like they could have gone with somebody better? Let me know your thoughts in detail about this. I would love to see some more opinions. It's certainly a very interesting adjustment for the band and for the fans as well. So that will be everything for today's video. If you would like to see more Linkin Park content, I have covered some of their other tracks in the past in previous videos, which you can find the link to in the description of this one. Also, if you would like to see more content like this overall, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next audio analysis.